Hey there, welcome to this live stream. So, I was just thinking tonight about what I wanted to share with you because I'm right now in the middle of launching for the very first time the Delish Diet certification program and mentorship. And basically, thinking about what it might be like to be in the shoes of somebody who is interested in a program where somebody has actually created the path for you, taught you what to actually do with your clients, and provided everything that you need at your fingertips to provide a really great service. And thinking about the different kinds of people that are out there and what is a good match and how do you decide, how do you determine what's the best path for you moving forward in your business. And so one of the things that I was thinking about is how in my many years of teaching at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition here in Kelowna, unfortunately, a lot of the people who go on to graduate do not choose to actually stay in the business or even get started because they don't really want to be entrepreneurs. And, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because not everybody is cut out for being an entrepreneur. There's, certain personality types of people who have a natural inclination to be entrepreneurs and others who, as soon as they even start thinking about all the details, all the balls that have to be up in the air, are not interested in doing it, but they still have a passion for the work. And I know when I first went to holistic nutrition school, I had like a vision for what my practice would look like on the inside, right? So my natural inclination is to be really into systems. So I spent a lot of time actually thinking while I was in class, everything I was learning, I was like, okay, how can I actually make this into something that I could use with a client? Or how could I take these concepts and simplify them so it would be easy for my clients to understand? So my brain kind of has always worked like that. But I really wasn't focused on the idea of like, oh, I'm going to have to know how to run a business, right? Like I wasn't thinking about the business side of it at all. And really, really, really struggled with accepting that I had to learn business, sales and marketing in order to actually get the work out there and be able to serve people. So let me just grab my coffee here. So I really, understand, even though I've been in business now for quite a long time in the realm of holistic nutrition, and have overcome a lot of the hurdles along the way. Like I remember when I first got started and I really realized that I needed to learn sales. Oh my gosh, that was just like some sort of nightmare for me. Like I literally remember taking this business training program and being given this script for how to do a sales call. And I literally had planned an event at a local herbal shop where throughout the day I was doing free consultations. And I just felt sick to my stomach with this strategy, right? Like I'm going to offer these free consultations, but actually really what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer people to work with me, right? So that is like just obvious, right? Like why wouldn't you offer people the opportunity to work with you if you have the answer to the problem that they want to solve, right? But because I had so much fear around sales and perspective around that, I actually thought somehow that that's like a scam, right? But I was like, but there's no other way, right? Like I have no idea how I'm going to actually like get clients if I don't learn sales. And I remember the morning before I had like the sickest feeling in my stomach, like impending doom, like so disgusted by the idea that I had to learn sales to help people to, basically enroll them in the idea of actually getting the help that they need, right? So anyways, I understand all of this stuff. I understand where people are coming from and why they choose not to become entrepreneurs, because that is not the vision that people have for themselves when they think about learning nutrition or any kind of natural healing, energy work, etc. People just in general, many people are not wired for that. But some people are, right? Like, so one of the reasons I wanted to do this is just to like make some like distinctions, right? So for me, there's parts of me that are really wired up for business because I like organizing, I like to create systems, and I like to create curriculums, etc. So actually the part of like creating and developing a business is like the funnest part for me. To the point where like I remember the first business that I had, it was a business called Earth Mother in Winnipeg with my friend Jennifer. And we started this business called Earth Mother, and it was a natural mom and holistic baby store, like a full-on store, like retail on land, not online. And I remember when I was there at the business, because I was so like into working inside the business, like not inside the business, like on the business. I loved working on the business, that I would feel annoyed inside of myself when a client would come in, like a customer would come in, because I was like, I'm busy. I'm trying to create this amazing thing for you. Now you're interrupting me, right? It's so hilarious how this has like been a thing through my entire, career. And for the longest time, I made myself wrong about it, right? Instead of realizing that like there's a certain way that I am that's actually great, that allows me to have the interest and stamina and endurance and creativity and desire to actually create programs. So I was lucky to have that. The business side of things I had to learn. Like I literally had to train with a lot of different people, taking a lot of different business group coaching programs and lots of like online courses in marketing and things like that in order to learn how to actually do business, like or not so like do the business, but to do the sales, to do the marketing, right? Because who does that really come naturally for, right? So, when you're, finish your certification, you've become, certified in something, the next step is you really actually have to learn how to do a few things. You have to learn how to market. Now, in order to market your business, you're going to have to make sure that you have systems in your business that are actually marketable. And that's where having a signature system comes in, right? So whatever it is that your client, your ideal client, the result that you see that you want to help them create, the steps that you walk them through to get there, that's your signature system, right? That's what actually makes a business marketable. So if you don't have a niche and you don't have a signature system, it's really difficult to market your services because everything is very general, right? So let's look at an example. Say, for example, I go to a health food store and I put my little card in there and it says holistic nutritionist on it. Well, most people with health problems don't realize that actually their diet and lifestyle are causing their health problems, right? Like most people are literally walking around society totally victimized by their health challenges, thinking that it's nothing that they did and there's nothing they can do, right? And so they just don't even think, like, is there another way other than drugs or surgery, right? Because if you go to the medical establishment, that's what's on the menu, a diagnosis, drugs, or surgery. So that's what the majority of society just accepts. They don't think to look outside the box. Now, imagine if I decided to specialize in bladder infections. And I put my shingle up by putting my business card out there with a specific, tagline or something that allows people to know that what I do is help people heal their bladder infections naturally, right? It'd be even better for me to say something about healing chronic bladder infections naturally. Now, a person walking past a business card that says holistic nutrition on it is not going to pay attention if they have a bladder infection. But if they are walking past this poster or business card and they have a bladder infection and it says something about natural remedies for bladder infection, well, they're going to look, right? They're going to be like, oh, I have chronic bladder infections. There's something natural I can do for that, right? So it's so funny, right? Because we have this tendency to look at it like if I don't niche myself, then at least I'm open to solving all these health problems, right? For different people. But actually the truth is that if people don't know what holistic nutrition is, they don't know that actually diet and lifestyle are preventative of disease and that they can heal themselves, they're never ever going to look at promoting holistic nutrition. What they're going to look at is promoting, supporting to overcome a challenge that they have. So what makes a business marketable is having a signature system that's geared towards solving the problem for a specific person. That's your niche, right? Now, the thing with that is that it's very, very time consuming to create all the handouts and all the different things that go with a signature system. I know, because even though I love doing these things, I find it very time consuming, right? It's like writing like a master's thesis or something like that. If you don't like writing, if you don't like doing research, then you're gonna struggle with getting the signature system completed, right? Like, it's easy to come up with, this is what the system is, right? Just like step by step by step by step. But all the work that goes into like the sessions that are inside each step of the system are geared towards doing certain things, and you want to have supporting documents, resources, templates, etc. for your client to help them implement what they've learned or what that step is that they need to do, right? Let's look at something, for example, the fact that people need to be educated about fat, that fat doesn't make you fat, and that fat is actually healthy for you. And there's so many amazing benefits that fat has for your body and your health and your gut and etc., right? Your nervous system, and optimal energy levels. So if you just tell a client that, they're going to be like, that's awesome. And then what's going to happen is all the programming that came from when they were children, and then all through adulthood, because of the societal perspective on fat, is that they are literally just going to, if you're not there, they're going to just revert back to those behaviors of avoiding fat. And of course, people are always avoiding the wrong kind of fat. They're always avoiding the animal fats instead of avoiding the processed vegetable fats. It drives me crazy, crazy, crazy. Anyways, so they're literally depriving their bodies of the nourishing saturated fats that their body needs, and they're just like going, oh, well, it's okay if I, eat all this like foods with canola oil and all these processed vegetable oils in it, because society has told them that vegetables are healthy and animal foods are fat. Yet all of these animal foods are the foods that nature has provided for us, that we have evolved on forever. And that are literally, when our body absorbs them, there's so many different ways that it helps to build our body and our health. Yet these processed vegetable fats that are absolutely new, we've never evolved to have them in our diet, but because our body and they're so processed, right? Like most of them are bleached and deodorized because they're so rancid and processed that they turn brown, and then they're bleached and refined so that you're not disgusted by them and you'll still eat them, right? So, and then people think, oh, well, they're from plants, so they read the box of, these processed food things, or they buy canola oil and they consume it and they think, oh, yeah, I'm doing something so healthy because this is from a plant, right? So that is incorrect. But a person may understand that if you provide them with the resources, maybe an article or something like that, but they're just gonna forget it, right? Like, practically as soon as you've taught it to them, if it's a long article that they have to read, they are going to forget it. So really what you have to do is, for every session of the different things that you want your client to learn, you have to think about, how can I help them embody this? So what is it that I can provide to help them to not forget what they've learned, right? So certain things you could do in particular would be something like an infographic that they can quickly remind themselves, why, right? And you want to put things like references on that so that they can follow up to research and studies, because they need to reprogram their mind. They have to go oh, okay, well, my nutritionist just didn't pull this, out of nowhere. that this is like actually backed by studies. This is backed also by logic. That is really, really helpful for a person to have something like easy to digest and assimilate and refer back to. So the issue though is that not everybody is built to create material like that. So it's easy to come up with ideas, right? But it's a lot harder to put them, onto paper. Like, it's very time consuming. So one of the distinctions is whether you should be doing so I don't know if like how I introduced this, but basically one of the concepts that I was wanting to bring here was like, when you're deciding to step into your nutrition or health coaching business, should you create your own signature system versus should you invest in somebody else's done for you system or program where they've created the signature system and all the business systems, etc., and teach you how to do it. And then there's so much, all of the behind the scenes stuff is done, so you're not going to be drained by building all this stuff. And then you can just focus on marketing because you've got the business systems in place. You feel super organized, right? Because you have everything done for you. You know how many sessions you're doing in a package. You know what you're doing in each session. You have handouts for each session that you don't have to do yourself. And you feel confident, right? Like, you feel confident that you have this system behind you. If you don't have that natural desire to create a system, to spend a lot of time writing and developing content, then it's more likely that you would benefit from investing in some sort of certification program or some sort of done for you, like business in a box kind of a thing, so that you don't have to do all that behind the scenes work that you don't feel built for, right? Like, so an example would be like certain types of entrepreneurs, right? Some are going to be better at using somebody else's system, and they're really good at, sales and marketing and all that kind of stuff, but not really good at systems. There are some people that are really good at systems and not so great at sales and marketing. And those like me, like I had to actually like literally study the business and marketing so much because and the sales, it just didn't feel natural to me in the beginning. It feels very natural now because of the context that I've put it in is so much more empowering and just so much more natural. You know what I mean? Sales is about having a deep conversation with somebody about something that's really important to them and really important to you. And when you think of it that way, it just becomes this natural, like instinctive, intuitive conversation that you're having, right? You don't have to necessarily follow a script, although it's helpful in the beginning to follow the script when you are feeling like unsure of yourself and not sure what questions to ask a client, etc. So I'm not saying that scripts aren't good. That's how I started. But it's not necessary to do that, especially when you feel really connected to, the work that you're doing. So the benefits of having a signature system or creating your own signature system is if you're a creative person and you have, like really unique ideas and you have a different way of seeing things that you want to bring to this world that is going to have a new approach, right? If you're very innovative and a visionary, then you're not going to want to be in, like, say, for example, my program, my Delish Diet certification program. If you're a visionary and you love making systems and you love creating your own handouts and things like that, you're probably not going to be the best person to take my program. You'll probably love it for the training in weight loss physiology. But as far as my systems and stuff like that, you may be like, well, I want my own systems, right? I want to create my own systems. So that's basically for that. Like, say, for example, if you're watching this and you're that person, you might actually be interested in my Nourish Nutrition Business Program, which teaches you how to make your own signature system, find your niche, etc. But if you are somebody who is like totally not into that, you don't want to actually have to develop your own system, you don't want to have like a unique brand, you don't want to have to put yourself out there as you, right? So this is another distinction. Some people don't like that feeling of needing to like basically center their business around their own personality, right? They sort of want the business itself to be the front, and then they're like the person who works inside the business, right? So somebody who's in that position would be a great fit for my program, the Delish Diet Certification and Mentorship Program. Because when you join the program, you get to run your business under my brand, right? So you get my logo, you get my systems, right? You get to put yourself out there as a Delish Diet certified practitioner. You get your name on my website. That's great for somebody who's not interested in a system. They don't really feel like they want to reinvent the wheel. They don't have like a big vision for something different. They just really want to help people. They just really love nutrition. And they just really want to work in an area where people are seeking help, right? So they can actually do the work. They don't even, maybe even care that it's weight loss, right? But again, what makes the Delish Diet system marketable is that it's a system designed for a specific result, to support a person to get healthy for the purpose of losing weight. Let me think if there's any other distinctions that would be good to mention. If you're more of like somebody who feels like you want to be an employee, that would be another avenue within that you might want to come into the Delish Diet certification program, because I have like a huge vision, right? And there's many different layers of what I'm planning to build out. So right now I'm doing all of the instructing, right, in the program. And I will be doing that for a certain amount of time, but then there will be a point at which I would love to have my Delish Diet certified practitioners also be teachers, whether it's in my online program, the Delish Undiet School, which is going to eventually be centers, education centers. And so I will need teachers, right? So some people will want to take my work and go out there and create their own business using my systems, and then other people will be like, nope, don't want to do that. I want to be employee. I would rather work for the Delish Diet company, because what I will need is teachers and consultants inside of the centers and the online program. So, those are our future things that I'm envisioning. Now, I just wanted to say, before I finish this off, just to inspire some of you who are like, maybe you're like, I want to actually create my own system. And you would love to do something similar to what I'm doing, and encourage you to do that. Like if you are if you're like me and you're super creative and you're a visionary and you see this like niche that needs to be fulfilled in the health industry, there's one thing you can do is obviously create that business and serve people. But if you find yourself loving working inside the business or on the business rather than inside the business, why not take that signature system that you've created and then create another, either a certification program like I'm doing, where you're actually teaching that, people to be experts on that topic. Or, that's one way of doing it. The other way is actually just selling like a business in a box kind of thing, right? Where you're not necessarily teaching in that depth. Maybe you don't identify as a teacher. Because I love teaching, like I have this program, the Delish Diet Certification Program, is an 18-month program, right? Because I like the teaching. But I could have made it like a 2-month program and just taught people how to use my systems without going deep into the education side of it. There's those two ways of doing it. But why I encourage you to do it is obviously with, when you have a vision like that, it's meant for you to bring to the world. And it's not just meant necessarily for some people, it's just meant for them to have their, small, coaching, boutique coaching business. But there may be some of you who have really big visions, right? And if you don't share that with other people, then it really can't expand, because you're only one person and you can only do so much. But can you imagine, so now I'm talking to the holistic nutritionists and the health coaches. Can you imagine if you identified yourself as a visionary and you're a writer and you like to create systems and you really like working on a business to make it successful, and you pass those systems on to others, and you create a business where they can actually work for you. Like all of these holistic nutritionists and health coaches that have been coming out of all of these schools who never get anything off the ground because they're not natural born entrepreneurs, and they're like not wanting to ever have that become natural. Like they just don't ever want to be an entrepreneur. Like how amazing would that be? Because then you could employ them, right? And then finally, there's going to be an actual avenue of expression for holistic nutritionists and health coaches that don't want to be entrepreneurs, that they can still work with clients. They don't have to worry about like creating this like huge business, right? So that's for you empire builders, right? Like just a little bit of encouragement to, just go for it. All right, so there we go. I just wanted to give a couple different distinctions about whether, or not you're the kind of person who would do better by running off and creating your own signature system and potentially even training or certifying others, or creating businesses that employ people, versus those of you who know that that's not what you want to do. You just want to work with people. You want to learn as little bit as minimal business marketing as you need, just as much as you have to, kind of thing. You want to use someone else's system because you just want to focus on the clients, not on all this background stuff, all this time on the computer, making templates and handouts and infographics, etc. Then for you, ideally, you would find a done-for-you program in the niche, the specific niche that you're in particular interested in working in. So I'm going to, at the end of this video, put a link to the Delish Diet Certification Program. This is for people who want to specialize in weight loss. People who in particular want to specialize in helping people get healthy first, with the good side effect of attaining and maintaining their optimal weight as the result of getting healthy, right? So it's not about like some sort of fad diet that you do for a little bit and you get the results and then you just go back to your old life. No, that's not what the Delish Diet is about. The Delish Diet is about literally helping people to do what it takes to get healthy and changing their lifestyle, transforming it permanently. So using their weight loss journey as a catalyst for life transformation. No results are going to ever stick for anyone who is not willing to transform their life, right? Like literally raise their standards of what they're willing to accept in terms of their health and their diet. Literally just be willing to change, right? Like you just can't think that you would have this, like there's no way you can have whatever level of health consciousness that a person has without up-leveling that consciousness and up-leveling their standards. Nothing's ever going to change, right? It's commonly what we do is we do this like whole willpower and self-discipline thing, right? But if you have to have willpower and self-discipline to maintain a diet that is going to help you lose weight, what that means is that you don't have the right level of health consciousness, because you should never have to use willpower to get to your ideal weight or keep it off. Using willpower, what it means is if you have to use willpower is that you have not changed your environment. Okay? It means that you have not made a decision to transform your lifestyle permanently. That's the first key. Right? If you think that it's about willpower, then that's what's going on, is you haven't made a decision to have permanent transformation and change in your life. And you would like to have everything be the same, but you still just want to get skinny, right? That's not what we do with the Delish Diet. In fact, the program that I'm launching in January that I'm certifying and training coaches for right now to help me so that those people can get coached privately, but not by me, because I'm providing the education, the training, the teaching, and the group coaching, is called the Delish Undiet School. And it's really about dismantling that diet mentality. So another thing to just consider if you're watching this, that weight loss is a really strong motivator for clients. A lot of holistic nutritionists and health coaches have an aversion to weight loss because they think of it as shallow and they don't want to be associated with the topic of weight loss, because we see so many surface level approaches to losing weight, a lot of fad diets. It's just things that that's not our value system as health coaches and holistic nutritionists. We don't agree with that approach, right? So the word diet, it kind of, people just are like, yeah, no, I don't want to help people lose weight. That's too shallow. It's very typical. I hear this very often. And in fact, people often feel embarrassed to be, actually called a weight loss coach or weight loss mentor or whatever. But that's why this is so important, because that's what needs to change, right? Like, we can't just go like, oh, the diet industry is stupid, and it's shallow, and I'm beyond that, while knowing that that's what people out there want at the level of consciousness they have. So they're seeking weight loss, and this is a rule of marketing. You give people what they want, you sell people what they want, and you give them what they need. Okay, so they want weight loss. What they need is better health. And when you're in an optimal state of health, your body weight normalizes. That's the good side effect, right, of getting healthier. The public doesn't necessarily get that, right? They have to be educated about that. So, we can't sit here and go, well, we're above that and we're too cool for weight loss, right? So if that resonates with you, then that would be another great sign that you would be a great match for the Delish Diet certification program. I don't even know to be honest with you, I think one of the reasons why it was easy for me to transition into this without a lot of feeling around that. And even though, I have, people around me that, it seems weird to them that I'm doing weight loss now, right? It's like my hippie background, hippie home birthing mama background, unassisted childbirth. I used to be a doula, everything so anti-establishment, right? Like, and now I'm doing diet, right? But it's so natural to me because I was in that place so many years ago when I had, just sort of the height of my chronic stress, that I just suddenly gained so much weight, even though I was eating this natural whole foods diet, right? So it became important to me at some point, right? And then I figured out, right? I just figured it out. And once you figure it out, that's the journey, right? Like, your journey is to help others with what you've learned on the journey yourself, and to give back, essentially. There's a lot of people who are actually nutritionists and health coaches who are overweight, right? I did another video on that. Can you be an overweight or obese holistic nutritionist or health coach or whatever, weight loss coach? And I went into that, so I'm not going to go into that in big detail. You can go back and find one of those videos. But what is really beautiful about it is that if you do decide to do this work to support people to get healthy, and as a good natural side effect of that, they get their optimal and ideal body weight, in the process of learning and growing and embodying what you learn, you get the transformation that you get to bring back to your community, right? So, people might be like, oh, I need to figure it out first. I need to get skinny before I could ever help others. That's not exactly it, right? It's like, you need to be making progress in your life to be helping others and be a few steps ahead of them, right? And actually, people don't necessarily want to work with, they see these celebrity fitness people and diet gurus who look perfect and have the perfect everything. They don't want to work with that person, right? They feel like they're going to be judged. They feel like they're going to be pressured. They want to work with somebody who's a little bit more like them. So there is no, reason why you have to be a certain size to start helping people, because the point is that you're helping them with their health, and as you're healing yourself, taking your own health to the next level, and as the result of that, letting go of that body weight, you're an example to others. And the point of going through the challenge, like right now, you might not like that you have this extra weight, and you might feel embarrassed, especially being a nutritionist, having this health problem on the outside of your body that people can see. It's embarrassing. I was there, right? 176 pounds on a 5'3", 3/4 inch frame, obese nutritionist. Was horrified when I really realized how much I weighed, and I felt really embarrassed and ashamed. So I understand exactly what you're going through. But I took that, that leap of just deciding, well, you know what, I could just throw my hands up in futility and stay fat for the rest of my life, or I can use this as an opportunity for self-growth, to learn and grow and then give back. Okay, just like I did this exact same thing when I was in my early 20s when I had mono, and I had to heal myself of mono. And that's basically how I became on this journey of becoming a holistic nutritionist, right? I was literally I healed myself. Like a lot of times when people have mono, they end up going to bed for a couple years, right? It takes a couple years away from their life. And I was lucky that I found natural health, and I literally within 1 month felt 70% or more better. And that was due to taking certain supplements and literally transforming my diet from a standard North American diet to a whole foods diet, and getting body work, energy work done at least once a month. I never missed a day of work. Right? And I was just so excited and so passionate to learn more. I was like, wow, look what I just did for myself. And this is so amazing. And I wanted to give back. So that's why we have these health challenges in our life. So actually, when I think about it, if you have a weight challenge, actually you're really extra suited to be a weight loss mentor, because you have the experience, you know what it's like, right? So don't stop yourself because of that. And use it as an opportunity for your own life transformation. Something that, you have a specific amount of time. A lot can happen in 18 months, right? You could be a completely different person in 18 months. And at the end of that, be fully equipped to support others to take the journey that you've already walked yourself. And just one more thing before I stop this is to say that in the certification program, because it's a mentorship, it's beyond just, trainings and information and passing on my systems. I'm literally with you in the program for 18 months and at your fingertips, essentially, right? So 2 months into the program, I will have taught you enough content to be able to start working with clients, okay? So if you don't have the answers to a question, you don't have to worry, because I'm right there, right? You can literally text me, email me, text me through Voxer, because it's easier when you can communicate in a way that you can just talk, right? So I don't want to spend my days writing long emails, but I'm happy to just give you a voice, feedback on something that maybe your client is struggling with, you don't know the answer, or you need to know a resource, right? The point is that not that you know everything. The point is that you're showing up to support, and if you don't know the answer to something, you just ask, right? And together we'll find the answers for your clients. So even though the program is 18 months long, you actually will within 2 months be ready to start working with clients, and your profile will be up on the Delish Diet website so that people can find you and work with you by finding you on the site as well. All right, so thank you so much for watching. And again, I'm going to put the link to the Delish Diet certification program underneath the video so you can learn more. That's what I'm currently launching. There is a $1,000 savings for those of you who want to join before tomorrow night at midnight. For anyone who is interested in creating their own signature program and doing something similar to what I'm doing, but for their niche, feel free to message me here on Facebook if you want support with that as well. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.